Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Danger Zone. I'm your host, Grizzly, and today I have got a very special guest with me. I have the one and only Zeb.
Thank you.
Zeb has been my best friend for about a decade now. I honestly consider him more like a brother than a friend at this point, but I know him very well, but none of you know him. So I'm gonna get him to formally introduce himself, and Zeb, just kind of tell the people who you are and what you do.
Oh man, let's see. So I'm Zeb. I would say first and foremost, more than anything, I'm a music enthusiast. I'm someone that has music running through their veins, and not necessarily in the sense that I make it. Though I'll admit I dabble from time to time. More so, I just believe in artistry. I believe in helping artists achieve their goals and execute their vision and just become something greater than themselves. A lot of times artists like to focus on purely the creative aspects of what it is that they do. I like to be the person that's able to help them with all the other aspects, the things that they may not think of or the things that they may not, be aware of, to help them just reach that next level. But I've been doing that for years, where it's just marketing or music marketing or other endeavors. I mean that's what I found myself doing. That's what I found myself having as my calling at the end of the day. So ultimately, just trying to leave my mark on this world and know that I did everything I could to help others achieve their goals.
And where did that start for you? What was like? I guess what was like? Was there like a defining moment where you were like, "This is what I want to pursue," or was it just kind of something that you always knew that you wanted to do? What was sort of the process of finding that for yourself?
Oh man, it's funny. Like growing up, I honestly didn't know what I wanted to do for the longest time. Starting out, I know as long as I can remember, I wanted to be an entomologist. So like guy that studies bugs, insects, arachnids, that
I
sort of
do
thing.
love bugs.
And I think bugs are cool. I think it's just a cool science. It's cool to learn about them. It's cool to find all that stuff out. But as I got older, a little bit older, and I realized like, okay, well, this science stuff is cool. It's awesome to learn about, but I need something that's going to pay the bills. Got to pick a career path that's going to pay the bills. In the world we live in, you got to pay the bills. And so I remember there was like a turning point when I was about 16, 17 years old. And I remember thinking to myself, this is back in like, you think of like the SoundCloud era of like rap music and stuff, right? I'm consuming all this content with all these, amazing artists, some here with us today, some not here with us today. And it was the coolest thing watching all these guys like make music and become stars from their bedrooms. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the at this time, a lot of these guys didn't have industry push for a while. They were just doing their own things. Renting out a Sprinter van and touring across all these little shithole venues all over the U.S. And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. And I thought to myself, I would love to find a way to do something where I'm just a guy on that team. I'm a guy on that team helping that artist, maneuver and achieve their goals. And then that kind of led me into marketing. But before I did music marketing, I realized that okay, well, I need to learn marketing first. So I started working with small businesses, working, with local businesses in my area, working with different agencies, doing freelance sales stuff. I mean, shoot, for a long time I was the guy that was like, "Hey, do you want to buy this and that?" Reaching out to all my friends about all this shit, And after a while, I realized, okay, well, that's not the route I want to go, and that's what led me to music marketing is realizing that I can help these artists find a way to take their ideas and monetize them and help them grow an audience, so that, like I said, they can focus on just the creative aspects of what it is they enjoy doing. And to add to that, not to ramble too
No, you're
long,
good, man.
one of the core things was when I was growing up, my older brother, he's an artist, and I grew up watching him make music all the time. I mean, I literally sat in the studio with him for hours and hours and hours listening to him make music, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever. And I remember thinking to myself, like he's doing this from his room, you know what I mean? And he felt like he needed to move out of our home city of Greenville in order to make it, in order to, get to the next level, in order to make the connections that he wanted, that he needed in order to succeed. And I felt as though that's unfortunate. I felt it's unfortunate that we don't have an infrastructure in place in our small city to help artists, grow and reach the heights that they so rightfully deserve. So ultimately, I just want to play a part in that. I want to have a hand in that.
Fucking cool, man. One thing that I've been thinking about recently is, the exciting but sometimes alarming rise of AI. AI
Yeah.
is undoubtedly going to impact the music industry. It already has,
Yeah.
for better or for worse. I have mixed feelings about artificial intelligence, and I tend to think, maybe perhaps foolishly, that AI is actually going to help artists more than it's going to hinder them. And I kind of wanted to get your perspective on, do you think that AI is going to help the music industry, or do you think it's going to do more harm?
You know, it's an interesting question because I believe the answer is definitely somewhere in the middle. It's not so nuanced as to say that AI is going to completely obliterate, creativity and art as we know it. But it's also, I don't believe, going to be just a purely great tool that's going to ultimately only serve to help artists.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, I think the answer lies somewhere in the middle. The way that I view it is AI is one of those things that at this point in time, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. You're not escaping it. You're not going to be able to hide from it and hope it doesn't affect you, because it will. And so you have these people that are either going to need to get with the times or get left behind. And I'm not saying that in the sense of, oh, these people need to embrace using AI for their music, because don't get me wrong, the whole creating an entire AI artist and having them make AI generated music and using that to sell records, I think that's bullshit.
It is.
I think that's
100%.
entire
I'm glad we're on the
bullshit.
same page with that.
100%. Like the idea of taking the human element out of music, I don't believe in that at all. And truthfully, I don't believe that something like that would ever sell. Don't get me wrong. You have AI artists nowadays. You have like completely AI generated artists that are making music, and they're getting some streams. But ultimately, once people start to kind of see through the BS, they realize how stupid that is, right?
Yes.
But then you have the other side of things, right? I read recently, Kanye West, he was getting a lot of flack for using AI on some of his recent projects. And one thing that I read that was interesting recently was on his upcoming album Bully, and I believe Vultures 1 and 2, if I'm not mistaken. He used AI a bit on those records, and you look into why he was using AI on those records. Turns out he just didn't like his lisp. He had a lisp, and he was using AI like vocal track in order to eliminate the lisp on his records.
Yeah.
And it's like, can I really be mad at him for that? I mean, yeah, you can if you're like if you're kind of like a doomer about the whole AI thing, like, oh well, he shouldn't have done it at all. But ultimately, I already know that Kanye West, despite his flaws, is one of the greatest artistic minds ever. That can't be taken away from him. So if he finds a way to creatively use AI in a way where he's still inputting his human element into it, I'm not going to necessarily be mad at that, because that's how you push things forward. So I think AI has its place, but I also think that we have to be careful not to go too far in certain directions. But ultimately, I think the human creative element can never truly be taken out of music. It's what built it. Music is expression, it's communication, it's everything. You know what I mean? Music is art, and people will see through BS every time.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. There was an artist, I don't know if you remember, this was a few years ago. He was an AI generated rapper. So it was all AI, including himself. Yeah, the guy with the green hair.
I know, yep. Whatever happened to that guy?
He got crucified so badly that he got ran off the internet, is what happened.
Yeah.
And he had like 65,000 followers.
Good
and
Lord.
Then it got so out of control, the hate, that he just got bullied off of the internet.
And as he should have.
He should have.
I don't believe in that. I mean, shoot, Timbaland's catching a lot of flack. I forget the name of his AI chick artist, Zuma, something. I don't remember. But he's been pushing this AI chick that makes music, and he's been, producing all her beats. But then, she is not real. She's an AI artist, and he's been catching hell for that, because every time he posts something about it, is like, how the mighty have fallen. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to push this and force this on people? Again, it's okay to use and incorporate AI tools to make the process of making music more fun and creative. But when you're taking the human element out of it by just generating some shit that you think is gonna work, yeah, you deserve to fail doing that. You do.
I mean, I'm not the most proud of this, but I must admit the cover art for Occupy is AI generated. But hear me out. I came up with the concept.
Okay, but see,
so to play devil's advocate, yes, a computer generated it, but I came up with the idea.
Here's the issue with that, and I can recognize that I would hope in the future you don't intend to do that. for future records and future projects.
Hey,
But here's
boy,
the issue
boy
with
was
that.
broke.
Well, I get
I had
it.
to do what I had to do.
But here's the issue with that, right? The same way that you're saying I came up with the concept,
Yeah.
there's so many people online right now that they'll go and generate some artwork or whatever, and when people shit on them and criticize them about this, they'll say, well, I engineered the prompt. I created the prompt and made the artwork. Okay, but you didn't put pen to paper. And I know that you are creative enough to have come up with something. I'm not saying you got to go draw a Picasso. You don't. The goal is to take your ideas and translate them into the physical realm. Using an AI prompt to do that, all you really did, truthfully, is just take from a whole bunch of other people's art styles to create something based on an idea that you had.
Yeah.
Which,
fair
look,
enough.
I get it as a budget-friendly option for a lot of artists. I know you're not the only person I know that does that. I'm not singling you out. There's plenty of artists and friends that I have that do that. I try and tell them not to. I let them know it is always better in the long run. Because the thing is, no one's going to call you out on it right now. Just keep it a buck.
No.
If you're a smaller artist, you're not, making the hugest waves yet, people aren't going to call you out on it. They're going to kind of let it slide. But as you get bigger and as you get more fans, especially with the type of music you make and the niche that you're in, those types of people, those fans that really care about artistic integrity and things of that nature, they're going to have issues with that. They're going to have issues with that. And so I encourage you in the future, find your own way to be creative, even for free. I think it's important.
Fair enough. Yeah, definitely.
That's not to say that Octopi is not a banger, though. Please go stream Octopi.
Please.
That shit is fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Top to bottom. Okay, I put my foot through the TV, Letter to Mother Gaia. I actually talked to Helix recently. I showed him a Letter to Mother Gaia. It's
Really?
his favorite track on the project.
Really?
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it.
Did he listen to the whole thing?
He listened to at least. I was with him and he listened to like 3 or 4 songs off of it. But he said he was going to go listen to the whole thing. So, but yeah, he loves Letter to Mother Gaia.
Yeah, Helix.
Local
I love
legend.
Helix to death. But
Yes, indeed.
he's very truly one of a kind.
That he is. They actually have a song together.
Mm-hmm.
Shades. I think
Yeah.
it's like your most streamed song too.
Which is insane.
It's
to
crazy.
me.
Yeah. Go check out Shades if you haven't. Grizzly and Helix. Fantastic song.
Very good song. Interesting. Ooh, I can't speak. Interestingly enough, I think my second favorite song is probably "I Can Hear the Devil Call."
I remember I remember you mentioned something like that
It's an underrated
on
one.
your recent video, and I agree. I think that's a fantastic song. I remember you saying something to the effect of it's like a war chant.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
that's how
agree with that.
intended
I
it.
agree with that. I like that when you kind of broke down like the messaging and the idea behind it, what you were thinking when you wrote it. I think it all ties together really well. So now every time I hear it, I get kind of like a renewed sense of energy when I listen to it. And I listen to it with fresh ears, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think that was sequenced. Was that right before I put my foot through the TV or right after?
It was the first
It was-
song that I made for the project.
That was the very first one?
It was the very first.
Before Succubus, before any of those? Wow. And that says a lot because that song is incredibly polished. Like you can tell you took a lot of time with it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel that way about several of the songs on the project, but to think like, if you're comparing the first song versus the last song you made, it's like the first song you would think would be more rough around the edges because you got better as you made more songs.
Yeah.
So hearing I Can Hear the Devil Call, thinking about how polished that was and that being the first song you made for it, just kind of speaks to the meticulous nature of everything you did for the project, I think.
Except for the last 2 tracks, I must admit. I like the last 2 songs. I
Yeah.
do, but they were a little rushed.
Yeah, and
They were a little rushed.
and I think it can come through. I think at the end of the day, with like, bitch, I feel like Megatron, right? I think it kind of works for that one because of the spastic nature and the spastic energy of that track in general.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then I think of songs like Phoenix, right? Whereas I think as a concept, it's a great idea. And I think because you were doing like this vocal layering thing where you had like the whisper in the background,
Yeah.
that shit was fantastic. It was like an earworm. When I heard that, I was like, okay, he hadn't done that on any of these other songs.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. But then I think, the mixing could have got some work on it, but I say that to say, I want you to try and make more songs like Phoenix. Just perfect them, just polish them. But like making more songs like that, I think would be fantastic because I really enjoy it, like as an idea. And like I said, bitch, I feel like Megatron. Look, I'm not gonna lie, I play that song in the whip, damn near blows my speakers out. It does.
Yeah.
But it makes me think like you go perform that live. Oh my goodness, dude! I went to my first heavy metal show recently,
Really?
Yep. Like
God, man.
last weekend. I'm not gonna sit here and try and tell you I remember all the names of the bands because they all kind of sound similar to me. But I'll tell you the headliner was San Susabog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sangwa Susabog. They were fire. There were these other guys named Despised Icon. Um, I'm blanking on the other ones, but you know anybody that was at that Charlotte show, you know you might know what I'm talking about. That was my first experience like doing that, and my first experience in a real mosh pit.
Yeah.
Like don't get me wrong, I've been to some local like underground like rap shows where you know they be trying to get a mosh pit going, and there'd be some semblance of a mosh pit, but
This was.
this was completely different,
Yeah.
dude. There was like this one guy got his whole like eye like cut open like above his eyebrow on some MMA like meat hanging type.
Damn.
You feel me? And he was happy as hell.
Oh, I know.
He was in there like
These people are fucking crazy.
taking pictures with
insane.
everybody. It was crazy. It was absolutely insane. And I'm sitting here thinking like they just do this. This is a Sunday night. These people got to go to work tomorrow. And this dude just got his whole face opened up. I mean, they were in the mosh pit flailing, kicking, breaking bones. Everybody's getting lifted up in the crowd and crowd surfing to the front and they're getting thrown. I mean, it was ridiculous, but in the best way possible.
I remember years ago now, I think this was like 2018, my mom's best friend took me to and her boyfriend at the time, they took me to a heavy metal show. It was like a festival. It was like a 2-day festival, like a weekend thing. It was called Carolina Rebellion.
Oh, I'm familiar. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
I think I went to that one time.
Really?
I want to say so. Yeah, I went with some. I went with Ethan.
You went with Ethan?
I went with Ethan some years ago. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. We hit a car, and then flooded the scene. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
So I don't even remember who said it was, but there was this really big girl that was crowd surfing, and when I say really big, I mean like 300 plus pounds. And they somehow lifted her big ass up.
You got enough hands, I believe it.
And she was coming through the crowd, and they dropped her. And it was like a domino effect. So, like, she fell on top of at least 3 people.
And
then literally, it was like a tsunami effect where everybody around, like, her fell backward. So a few people, like 3 or 4 people fell back. And then it was like a whole crowd of people that she just toppled over.
Jesus. She knew she should have been crowd surfing.
No!
Oh my lord,
It
that's
was
crazy.
the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I'm telling you, those people have so much energy, man. Like I remember my homie that took me, his name was Matt. He gave me some earplugs. He was like, "You're gonna need these." I was like, "I'm not gonna wear them." He's like, "Dude, you really should. They get loud." I was like, "I live for this shit. I live for this." And sure enough, I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear the next day after that. It was ridiculous. They're also charging $16 for beers, which absurd. That's neither here nor there. Neither here nor there. I had a really good time, and like it just kind of showed me a different side to like live events and music because like I said, like music is my life. I'm a huge music enthusiast. I love everything about music, and you know historically I've really only gone to like hip hop and hip hop adjacent shows with a few a few differences. Like I mean I've been to some other bands in the past, but consistently speaking I normally am going to these hip hop shows, and I love the energy a lot of them bring. Sometimes not, but going to a metal show showed me a completely different side of how people control a crowd, how people interact. Like these guys, like the fans that were there, I mean, it was ridiculous. I got to be a part of a wall of death for the first time. Never got to experience that before now. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just the energy level is completely different. And it was amazing. It was an experience I won't forget. And I really want to share that with other artists, to kind of influence their performances in the future. Because I just think of like, I see something like that and I think of like you performing. You know what I mean? Because you have a great energy when you perform.
Yeah.
And I mean, I will say, like, out of the performances that you've done, especially like thinking back to the one you did up in Winston-Salem a couple years back, that crowd was amazing. I mean, so high energy, like absolutely turned. But then I think of like you in front of a crowd, like what I saw last weekend. Oh my goodness, dude. I mean, that would be absolutely insane. And that's the heights that I want to see you reach. And that's the heights that I want to see every artist reach, truly.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're not an older crowd, though, because I don't know if you remember this was a few years back. I performed, I forget the name of the place. It was that place that was right across from Spinks, that was kind of in that sketchy area. Do you remember? It was that bar. Hard Rock or something. It was the place that Helix and Slime got into a fight and got arrested at.
Oh,
The Radio
yeah.
Room. That's
Radio
what it was.
Room.
I did
Was that
one-
in the radio room?
So yeah,
It was
I
at the
did a
Radio Room.
show there unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Because Helix was performing, and you and I were, and him were, the three of us were in a parking lot, and we were just kind of chilling. He was like, "Hey, if I play Shades, will you come up on stage?" with me?"
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
"Yeah, I'll do
I
it.
do remember
Fuck
that.
it." And I was like super unprepared. Admittedly, not my best performance. I mean, it was still worth it. But I remember that, and when I was up there, it was an alternative crowd, but they were a little bit older.
Mm.
They did not fuck with us, bro. They did not. They did not care. Did not want to see us. When is the headliner coming up? Who are these young kids?
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, you got to know your audience.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I think when you get in front of the right audience and like that cohesion of having like the right audience and the right song for that moment, that's when magic happens. Like I think back to, once again, what I argue to be your best performance, which I think was your first performance, at Winston-Salem, when you performed Drugs, and the entire crowd was just hyping you up and getting progressively more turned. I mean, this entire function was going crazy. That's like peak performance. That's like what artists strive to achieve. And he did that his first time performing, which is absolutely insane.
I know.
Like, just a memory. I still got the videos. It's okay. I got the videos. I'm going to send them to you. You can post those up. Man.
I'm considering moving to North Carolina just because of that crowd.
Because of the
I'm gonna
scene?
be so real with you, yes.
Bro, look, Winston-Salem's scene when it comes to like underground music is actually crazy. And Winston-Salem, correct me if I'm wrong, people from Winston-Salem, other than the underground music scene, it don't seem like y'all have that much else going on. And that's not really any shade. Like I don't live up there, so I might be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But it seems like there's not much going on out there. But when somebody is performing, or there's artists performing or coming together, y'all show up and show out every time. And honestly, I'd say that for a lot of North Carolina. I think North Carolina in general has a much stronger underground music scene than South Carolina does. And that's not to say that we don't have the talented artists, because we do. But we don't have that cohesion. It's harder for us to round everybody up and get everybody to come out and really have a good time and show up and show out and not act too cool to be there. But whereas like when I go to shows in North Carolina, underground shows, I'm talking Charlotte, Winston-Salem, Asheville, Durham, I mean everywhere over there, you guys turn up every single time. And honestly, I just want some of that to infect some of the shows and the artists down here. But frankly, that's why I say I want to have a hand in creating more experiences like that in South Carolina, or even collaborating with other, groups and venues and artists up in North Carolina. Because we got a whole lot of stuff to be able to do if we work together efficiently enough,
That's why it's so important to have like everybody on the same page in the beginning, like during the early days. I think Greenville's problem in particular, or at least I've noticed this with, like, no disrespect to any artist, but like rap artists in particular, a lot of y'all beef over stupid shit.
Yeah.
You beef over stupid, petty bullshit you don't need to be beefing about. And it's like, we gotta work together.
Agree completely. Or on the flip side of that, I was talking to my boy Kenzie recently, and he was talking about the same thing. He's like, a lot of people in Greenville, they beef over stupid shit that's irrelevant. He's like, at the end of the day, we have to understand that it's all entertainment at the end of the day. So if you're gonna beef, but make it mean something. You know what I mean? If you're gonna beef, go drop a diss track on y'all. Go drop a diss track and go talk shit about him. Go fucking, curse out his dead homies. Whatever the fuck you got to do. But put a narrative to it. Yeah. Put a narrative to it. Because if we're just beefing for the sake of beefing and then not doing anything out of it, nobody's making money, nobody's doing shows, nobody's doing this and that. Okay, well now there's no fucking point to it.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you're going to beef with somebody, okay, get in the booth.
Yeah, I know.
Like, if you're going to beef, make it mean something. Make it worth something. That way, at the end of the day, shoot, you're pushing something forward. You're pushing the movement forward, whether that's for your people and your crew and, your clique, your side of things, us doing it for here. But we can build off of each other like that, even if you beefing. At the end of the day, having this shit fake anyway. Yeah, most of the time, niggas beefing over a girl or something stupid. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're gonna go out of your way to beef, then you need to actually get in the booth, do a show, Okay,
It is
and
kind of good for the culture of hip hop, though, from what I've learned.
look, I'm not saying like at the end of the day, it's good as long as it doesn't get taken too far, but ultimately, controversy sells. It does. So it's like if you're gonna be controversial, my thing is like you gonna go on Instagram Live and go cuss out one of your ops or whatever, but then like you're not gonna do nothing about it, or if you do something about it, you're just gonna go do some street shit that's gonna get you locked up. Okay, well that's stupid. Like go make a diss track. You know what I mean? Like go actually do something that's gonna help your career
Yeah.
as an artist. And then give them a chance to respond. And y'all handle it that way. Handle it like men instead of always trying to like slide on somebody. I don't think that's always necessary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't beef for the simple fact that I know that for me personally, my mouth will get me killed. I will get shot or stabbed or jumped.
And see the fact that you know that's good because
I
like
would get
you
myself
gotta know.
killed.
Look, I know people. I won't name any names whatsoever, but it's like I know people that will beef and they'll say the craziest shit about somebody, and then when they get pulled up on in real life, quiet as a mouse.
Dax! I had a cough there. I'm sorry.
But I know other people that you feel me. They won't say nothing. They'll just take it on the chin, and then the second they see you in real life, it's up. And you gotta know who you're dealing with at the end of the day. So that's why I don't beef with nobody. I have no ops, and I don't want to have any ops because I love everybody. At the end of the day, I'll protect what's mine, but I don't need to have ops. I want everybody to win, truthfully. As far as the music
Right.
shit is concerned, as far as music and and artistry is concerned, I want everybody to win because guess what? Even if a nigga that I hate is making music and he goes up, that creates a domino effect that allows everybody else to go up too. So I may not actively maybe work with and support that person if I don't like them like that, but ultimately them becoming successful or at least, getting some notoriety to their music and to their name, that helps other artists too. That creates a domino effect. And I'm all for that domino effect because again, one person wins, we all win.
Friendly competition. That's the best solution.
Or unfriendly competition.
Or unfriendly
Shit. Competition
Don't
at the end
kill
of the
each
day.
other.
Just
Stop
don't
killing each other.
Yeah, don't kill each other. Don't do that.
Don't
but
do
like compete. I don't care if you hate somebody, just compete. Show why you're better. Show why you're better.
People can definitely use beef to their advantage, though. I've seen it. Like there's a band that I've been into for a long time called Ignore. I don't know if you're familiar with
I'm not
them.
familiar, no.
So they're like a new metalcore type of band that I've been into for a long time. I actually get a lot of my inspiration
Really?
from them. Yeah. And the lead singer, Frankie Palmieri, I guess he had a stint where nobody liked him because I guess from what I understand and what I've heard, he was just a jackass.
Yeah.
And I guess he had a little bit of a drinking problem. And he kind of flew off the rails for a little while. His entire band left him.
Damn.
And so for a while, it was just him. So he was doing all the vocals. He was doing all the guitar work. He was playing the drums, all of the synths and everything. He was doing it all by himself.
What did he do when he played live?
He didn't. So
He just didn't.
it took him a while to actually find a band. So his whole lineup now is a completely different band. It's just him, and all the other members have been replaced because
Damn.
his band fucking left him.
Well, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
That won't happen. Yeah, I need to see you get some band members, man. Get some backing for a live
You think?
band.
I
Yes.
think I should do.
Okay, hear me out.
Being a solo artist.
I think you could work with either. I think hear me out, right? I think being a solo artist is more efficient.
Yeah.
In terms of just because you got to think about it. If you try to go the whole band route, you got to have more people that you got to deal with. You know what I mean? You got to have everybody on the same page. It's harder to do that. It is. What I'm really talking about is just having some people that you kind of hit up when you need to, saying, "Hey, listen, I got a show in such and such. I'm about to be performing Octopi, or I'm about to be performing my latest project, whatever it is, and I just need somebody to do, the guitar, somebody to do the drums. Can you help me out for this show?"
Yeah.
You feel me? Or, Laura willing, you go on like a tour or something like that, and you have some people that can do some live stuff for you, because it just adds a new dimension and a new element to your music. Like you see some of these rappers, I think like Cardi's a good example, where he'll have songs and stuff out that don't have any kind of guitar or anything even in them necessarily. But then when he goes on tour, when he goes to do a show, he'll have somebody doing like live instrumentation, and that just adds a new dimension to it. It adds a new level for the crowd to like get invested in, and I think that's beneficial. You don't need to do it every time, but like have that in the back pocket. You feel me?
That live intro, I remember I heard it for the first time for Rockstar Made.
Oh
Shit
my
almost made me
goodness,
cry.
bro. Yeah, that was absolutely amazing.
So
Stuff like
fucking
that.
good. You remember when you and I were gonna go see Cardi and then he was a dick and he canceled his tour? You remember that?
I do remember that, and then he refunded the tickets, and then decided to finally go on tour like 2 years later. And I was like, well, I'm not in a position where I feel like buying those tickets right now. I'm not doing
Cardi's
that right
kind
now.
of a jackass. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I love Cardi.
That's why
He's
we
like
love
my
him.
favorite artist, but
Well, Griff, he's a narcissist.
all true.
He's a narcissist.
Really?
You gotta.
That's what he should have called his album. To be honest, he never should have changed the title of that album.
He almost did, but yeah, I mean it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm getting to that age where it's hard for me to be in like a huge ass stadium with a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds trying to mosh and rush in the stage.
Not that
and
old. You're younger than me.
No, but no, I'm not saying that in old as in like old, like, oh, I'm an old man, I can't do that. It's mostly just like, I don't know, like I don't know how to put it. Like once
You got more to lose now.
yeah,
You
I got
feel
more to
like-
lose. Like if I was still like, even when like, cause we bought those tickets when I was like 21, 22.
Yeah.
If I'm like 22 years old, like that's fine. But it's like now it's like I got a whole bunch of stuff
You
going
weren't
on.
that young, were you?
Yeah,
Really?
I bought those tickets in like December of like 2022, whenever he first announced that tour, something like that.
Right.
And then we waited a year.
God,
and then
fucking
he
time
canceled it.
passes, man. Oh
Yeah,
my
for
God.
real. It's crazy. But it's just like I still go to a show like that, but not as often as I would have a few years back. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's really the main thing. I'll save it as a treat, a little special thing that I do every now and then. You know, if he decides to go on another tour again in a few years, I will be there, sure, because I'm a big fan of bro's music. At the end of the day, but I think artists can learn a lot from Cardi and the way he moves. Ultimately,
And I think what makes Cardi so great is that he's another example of an artist that is vehemently hated by many people and at the same time beloved by many people.
look, a lot of people give me flack for this. I always say Cardi is the world's biggest underground artist.
Yes.
I really do feel that way because like some people will argue and be like, well, no, he's mainstream. And it's like, yes, I understand that he has mainstream success, but the thing is he is still genuinely one of the most polarizing figures in rap. And so it's like he has like diehard fans that will ride for him no matter what. And his diehard fan base is bigger than anyone else's just about as far as his contemporaries are concerned. But at the same time, not every mainstream listener likes Cardi.
No.
You know what I mean? You
No.
go ask like an average like Drake fan or a Kendrick fan or anybody like that if they like Cardi. Some of them are gonna say yes because they're part of that fan base, but a
Right.
lot of them are gonna be like, I don't like that shit. I'm not listening to that shit. That's what I mean by he's an underground artist. When you have a unique enough sound, you become polarizing by nature. You
Yeah.
know, by virtue of the music you make, you will become polarizing, and that's what you want.
Yes.
You want to be polarizing.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Because when you end up making music that sounds the same for too long to please as many people as possible, you end up becoming stagnant. You end up becoming stagnant, and that's not what you want as an artist. You want to keep people guessing. You know?
Yeah, and I think doing something that's counterculture is important nowadays too, man.
It is.
Because I got to be honest with you, I talked about this in my first podcast. A lot of these artists fucking sound the same, bro. They really do.
They do. But see, that's why I also think like, you touched on this in your last podcast as well, but I think a lot of like these younger, newer artists are doing a really good job of differentiating themselves. Now, don't get it twisted.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say that sounding different is always good. Sometimes you might sound different and be trash.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen. But at the same time, you're better off making music that you want to make, as weird as it is and as different as it is, than trying to make something that sounds like someone else. You know, I'll give you an example. There's this artist recently, and this is no shade to this artist because I'm genuinely not hating. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It's like Bleood. I don't know if it's pronounced blood or if it's pronounced something else.
Bleod.
That's what I thought it was. But I've been seeing him get some like traction online recently with some music that he's been dropping. He dropped this album called like Rascal 51, I think it is. You might actually really like it.
Really?
You might, cause it's bruh. I listened to this album, and it felt like somebody poured like gasoline and ants into my eardrums. And I don't mean that in a good way. And hear me out, right? That music was not for me. And I listen to a lot of different and polarizing artists. I like to think I have a pretty refined palate when it comes to music, especially underground hip hop. I listen to a lot of it. But his music in particular, not my cup of tea. Now, that being said, I see so many people hyping him up to be better than this person or better than that person or better than these people. And he has a very small fan base right now, but it's strong and it's growing. And I respect the hell out of that. I have no hate in my heart for anybody making their own music and making their own sound and making their own way and creating a fan base based off that. It doesn't matter if I don't like the music. Who gives a fuck? I'm not the target audience, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not going to sit here and shade him for making what he wants to make and building an audience as a result of that. I think more power to him. But I think it goes to show that if you just focus on you and what you want to do, like, you'll end up, it'll work out. You know, I think I watched a clip recently from the artist Jace, you know, underground. I don't know if I want to say legend, but I mean, Jace is fire. I've been listening to Jace for years, so all due respect to Jace. I love his music. You know, but I was listening to a clip from him recently, and he was talking about, like, if you're trying to make it in the underground and just in music in general, you got to be willing to make music and make songs that you are embarrassed to show people. Like, you need to actually genuinely, viscerally feel embarrassed to show it to people. That's how you know you're on the right track. If you make a song and you're like, oh yeah, this is a banger, everybody will love this, don't release it. It's not a good enough song. It's not what you should be making, because that means you tried to make it sound like something that already is popular for you to think that other people are going to like it off rip. You need to be making songs that you like, but that if you listen to it, you're like, I don't know if other people are going to fuck with this. That's how you know you're on the right track.
That's true.
You keep dropping music that you love, but you don't know if everybody else is going to love, you're going to end up finding your niche and finding your sound and building up a strong fan base. I always tell, you know, all the artists I work with, you only really need 100 plus dedicated fans. I'm talking about 100 fans that are going to come to your show every time you perform near them. 100 fans that are going to buy your merch every time you drop some merch, or going to stream the hell out of your album every time you drop an album, you know what I mean, are going to support you no matter what. If you have 100 of those fans, you cannot lose. You cannot fail. You don't need to top Billboard.
No.
It's not necessary. No one, like, the monoculture, the mainstream of music that used to exist 10 years ago,
It's gone.
it does not exist anymore. Okay? Like, there's so many artists that you would swear you talk to one of their fans, they're the next coming of Tupac. But then they'll sell like 5K first week. And that's not a slight on them.
No.
That's just because that's the nature of the game now. Nobody's selling a million first week. We're not doing, that's not a thing anymore. You have artists that have small but strong, dedicated fan bases that are going to support the hell out of whatever they do. That's where the money is. That's where the success is. And that's what I tell every artist to chase now. Don't chase a hit, a Billboard hit. Don't chase a TikTok viral song. Just make the music you want to make, that you love, and let the artist find you. Tell a story. And let people become invested in the story that you're telling. I think that's important.
That's very
I think
important.
it's important.
Yes. I will say too, like, with the music that I'm making now, I feel much more personally connected to it, because when I first started making music, my attitude wasn't, how can I make something that I genuinely love and pray to God that other people love it. It was more, how can I copy somebody else's formula and try to be successful off of that. And I got to be honest with you, bro. You're probably going to disagree with me on this, and you're entitled to your opinion. But like, I hate my early music. Like, I fucking hate it. Decided. I think it's fucking garbage. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I don't like it. It feels like Ghostmane and Limp Bizkit had a retard every time I listen to it, and it's just, I don't know. I just felt like I was trying to be like, I got lyrics in there about sipping lean, never sip lean. I've got lyrics in there about doing coke. I've never done coke. I've got a bar in there about driving 80 on a 35. I've never driven that fast on 35. If I did, I would be dead right now. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
I get what
And
you're
two,
saying.
I mean, I feel like a lot of new up and coming artists, especially with like rap music in particular, they feel like they have to talk about the same things that other rappers talk about as far as like the subject matter is concerned in order to make streams and in order to make money. And that's not always the case.
Agreed.
Would you agree with me on
Completely agreed. And I wouldn't even necessarily like. I understand where you're coming from when it comes to homicidal. Like,
that?
look, from a musicality standpoint, if I'm talking about just putting a song on in the whip, I think homicidal's fire. I do still feel that way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I agree that music was not true to you.
No.
It's not true to who you are.
I was putting on a character.
Exactly. You're putting on a character. And I think, like, at the end of the day, you make the best music of your life when you're not trying to when you're not trying to be something that you're not. You make the best music when you're just being yourself and expressing what you want to express and what you want to get out there, what message you want to put out there to the world. That's when you make the best music. Fire beats be damned. Because at the end of the day, making music that isn't true to yourself and isn't true to what you are and what you believe in, that's only going to take you so far. Because when the gimmicks run out, what are you left with? A career built on lies and mental illness. And so I mean, like I said, I think the songs are fire, but at the end of the day, I completely understand not feeling like proud of that if that's just not you. I imagine you're 10 times more proud of Octopi.
Oh, 100%.
Because of all the
Fucking
work you put
100%.
into it. The fact that, you did literally everything from the ground up to make this project.
Yeah.
And I think that's genuinely very important. That is worth way more than a song full of YouTube beats, you know what I mean, that might go hard in the whip. I think it's worth more to just make music that you're proud of and that you can say, look, I did that. From top to bottom, that's me. All day long, that's me. I think that's a message that every artist should understand, is that at the end of the day, making music that's true to you is going to take you further than trying to make some music that sounds like somebody else. We already have a Playboi Carti. We already have a Lil Uzi. We already have a Drake. We already have a Kendrick Lamar. We already have these people. You can be inspired by whoever you want to be inspired by. But at the end of the day, you should take those inspirations and create something new. Goes back to what I said before. Make songs that you're embarrassed to share with people, but that you love. That's what's going to take you the furthest at the end of the day, truly.
Facts.
100%.
My drink is almost gone. I've got more.
So,
What's up? Hot.
something I want to kind of hear about from you next. Now, we've talked about this,
Yeah.
in person briefly,
Sure.
but I kind of want you to kind of tell the people about it a little bit.
Okay.
More so your mindset on your next project.
Sure.
You've briefly touched on it in the previous podcast, and like I said in other videos, but you've mentioned that it's going to be a lot more personal. I think you've let people know the title already. Don't play this at church. I'd like you to kind of maybe just let people know what to expect from your next project. Maybe what direction you're going. Just talk about your mindset. Talk about everything.
Well, I want to definitely take it in a much darker direction, like even darker
Than
than
Octopi.
Octopi. It's gonna really hit on some very, very heavy shit. I don't even know if I'm allowed to. Well, I've talked about it before. A few years ago, I was suicidal. Just want to throw that out there. I was very, very depressed and wanted to die pretty much every single day. I'm going to be kind of hitting on a lot of that. So it's going to be hard there's going to be points in the process of making it that are going to be difficult for me because I'm going to be talking about alcoholism. I'm going to be talking about depression and anxiety and all of these other sorts of things. But I also want to make it a horror-based project. So I want to take a lot of the imagery that I imagine when I think about mental illness and like alcoholism and all of that sort of stuff. I want to take it and like make an artistic piece with it. So
Now, when you say horror elements, give me some examples. Are we talking Nightmare on Elm Street? We talking Halloween? We talking?
we're talking more like Skinamarink, Blair Witch Project,
As above, so
shit
below.
like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
I don't
I'm
want to
digging that.
go. I don't want to go in the gore direction or anything like that. Or
Just like that
slasher.
kind of unsettling atmospheric horror. That horror that isn't like, oh, here's scary thing. It's more so like, here's the imagery that evokes the idea of a threat of something. Like this unseen force of just evil, so to speak. Which, I mean, kind of makes sense when you think of the album title "Don't Play This at Church."
Yeah.
You know, so musically speaking, as far as like, we think of like the sounds that we heard, the heavy industrial sounds on, Octopi. What are we thinking musically for "Don't Play This at Church"? Are you going to be doing more of the same as what you were doing on Octopi in terms of the beats and the instrumentation, or are you planning on going in a different direction, or what should we look for?
It's going to be similar. I mean, it's definitely going to have some elements of Octopi. I certainly am not going to shy away from the heaviness. That's kind of my bag. It's what I do. Is heavy 808s, heavy on the drums, um, that kind of thing. Um, I This project is going to be much more experimental. Uh, I want to stray away from the trap metal elements as much as possible. Not because I don't love like trap metal and guitar based music,
Mm.
but I just want to I really want to challenge myself by not do so. None of the songs on the project are going to have any guitar work on it. And I'm doing that because I want to challenge myself as an artist to really go outside of my own comfort zone as much as possible.
That's fair.
Um, so, I mean, I'm still gonna make singles and stuff that are that have that trap metal element to them. But as far as this next project that I'm gonna put out, and I mean, it's gonna be about wild. I mean, we're probably looking at like summer, like June, July, maybe even August.
So like maybe a fall release.
Right.
That's fair, but I imagine you're still gonna have some singles and stuff coming out between now and then.
Oh yeah, fuck.
What was that one single you showed me? It wasn't finished yet.
Crash Out. That's a good one.
I need you to
I'm gonna release that.
listen.
next.
Hey, I want y'all to hold this man accountable. I'm putting it here right now. He needs to release Crash Out before the year is over. Yeah, I said it. Before the year is over.
I know.
I want to hear Crash Out. I heard a little snippet of that. Y'all are gonna love it. Oh my goodness,
You're
that
gonna
song
like
is so fire.
You are gonna like
I
it.
want it. I want it as that's my Christmas present. It's Crash Out on all DSPs. Yes, please. Look. That's awesome though, man. I'm really excited to hear the direction you're going musically. And just kind of what you want to do. I mean, I think you're getting a lot better in terms of your talent when it comes to building out your beats, and like I said, you're challenging yourself with making more experimental, interesting music. And I think your fans are going to really appreciate that. You know what I mean? I think you're going to be able to build that out more. I think going a really content-heavy route from the onset is going to be really beneficial as well. I think like detailing everything you're doing, which I think this is a great first step, right? Us being here and talking about this now. I think also just once you start building out the songs, you know what I mean? Vlog that,
Yeah.
video that, talk about that. That whole process I think is really important. And I think that that can be said for any artist. If you're out there and you're trying to figure out like, oh, I don't want to post on TikTok, I don't want to post on YouTube, I just want to make my music and that's it.
You have no choice.
Like, look, I'm sorry, but that's just not the world we live in. The thing is, the internet has leveled the playing field when it comes to your ability to get your message and your music out there. You don't always have to go on TikTok and make like a fucking sing along. All right, you don't have to do that, but you need to be doing something. Every aspect of the process of making music can be turned into content. You just have to do it. You know what I mean? If you're in the studio recording, have a homie come in there with their phone and just video that. You don't have to get a professional videographer to do everything.
No.
Have somebody come in there and just video that process. You know what I mean? If you're coming up with the lyrics to a song, like think about a writing session. You're sitting there, pen to pad, or you're on your notes app on your phone, and you're trying to come up with the melody and come up with the hook and come up with the different lyrics. Set a little camera up on a tripod, right? And just video that. Get that content. The thing is, people don't understand is like when you create that song that really resonates with people and it hits immediately, it makes people feel like understood and heard, and then you go and you show them the content and all the trials and tribulations of making that song and getting it out there, and the mindset that you were in when you were crafting that song, and showing them how you felt while you were making it. It goes so much further. right? Because now they have a story to the songs that they love. A lot of people have these songs that they absolutely adore, but like they don't know what the artist was really going through when they were making that. For all you know, that artist could have not been going through shit. They could have just been like, oh yeah, they're gonna love the depressed folk are gonna love this one. You don't know. You don't know what they were going through. So that's why I tell all artists, you need to show that process as much as possible, through and through. You know, from every song to every every project, every behind the scenes of all the videos that you shoot. You know, just a video of you rambling about concepts that you find interesting that inspire your music. I think it's incredibly important for all artists to go and do that as much as possible, because it helps you as an artist get better at being on camera and talking about things, because a lot of artists are introverts. I know this from experience. All artists, not all, but most artists are introverts. They love making the art, but oftentimes they don't like bragging about the art or talking about the process of the art.
Right.
And I think that's just as important as making it in this day and age, in an internet heavy society and culture, right? Learn how to create content with every step of the process, and it'll never feel like you're working. It'll feel like you're just telling your story. And that's important. Very important.
All right, I have got to go take a piss real quick. I will be back.
Go for it.
You can continue to talk to the people if you would like.
You better. While Grizzly's not here, you know, I just want to take a moment to just, you know, appreciate everything in life. While we're recording this, it's like a couple days after Thanksgiving, you know, so I want to take a moment to tell you guys to be thankful, right? Be thankful for everything in your life. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all a short little story. Recently, you know, I was going through some tough times in my life. I'm not gonna get too in detail, but I was going through some stuff, right? And you know, you have those moments where you feel like you're at rock bottom, and you feel like, you know, you don't know where the other side of everything is, you know, and you're just taking it day by day, and you're just hoping things get better, this and that. And it was like, I was in that mindset, and I was having those thoughts, and I was feeling like, you know, like, goodness, I just need, you know, Lord, I need a break. I need something. I need this. I need that. And I talked to a neighbor of mine recently, and I kind of heard his story, and I heard what he was going through, and it was like, you know, without again telling his business, he was going through so much. He was going through so much, and like the stuff he was going through would have shattered me. And I thought to myself, from talking to him and having that experience with him, like, be grateful, be thankful for everything in life and everything that you have, because truly, and I mean this, like, this is not, I'm not blowing smoke. You never know what someone else is going through, and guaranteed, whatever you're going through in life right now, there's someone probably not that far from you, someone you might know, someone down the street from you, you know, that's going through something significantly worse, something that if you were going through, you genuinely might not make it out of. And I think it's important to take time to just be humble, to have humility, and to understand that tomorrow is not promised. And so every day that you wake up, you know, be thankful, be grateful, be happy that you get to live another day and become a better person than you were the day before. That's something I always try to strive to tell myself. You know, sometimes, some days I mess up. You know, some days I don't accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. But at the end of the day, I get up every day and I keep trying. And I think that's worth everything. You know, so I do want to leave you guys with that message as well, because I think it's vitally important to consider that. You know, this too shall pass.
So I have some news.
Yeah.
So when I was in the bathroom and I was using your paper towel dispensary thing,
Uh-huh.
it fell out of the wall. So it's not attached to the wall. I apologize. I just wanted you to get that.
And see, and I think that ties into the message that I was just saying, which you'll see when he edits this later. Yeah, because you never know.
You never know when Griffin is gonna fuck shit up, or Grizzly. I'm sorry. I was gonna ask you what you were talking about to the people, but I'm not sure I want to know.
Oh no, you'll see it later.
Okay.
You'll see it later.
So what now?
I don't know, man. What are we
I
at?
don't script these, so we're at least in an hour.
Is there anything else you'd like to leave with the people? I think a nice little wrap it up at a nice little hour podcast is good.
Yeah, this has been much longer than I anticipated. These are usually like 30 to 40 minutes long. This one is pushing 60. So, on that note, Zeb, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I will have him on again at some point, I'm sure. Probably many more times. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you did not like this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe.
And kiss his ass.
And eat it while you're at it.
Please remember, guys, what I was talking about when Grizzly wasn't here a moment ago. I think that's the perfect message that I want to leave you guys with. And can I say it? Can I do the honors?
Yes.
Peace, love, and light.